darling heart, and welcome to this episode of the Drink Less, Live Better podcast. This is the podcast that helps you to see that drinking less doesn't need to be stressful, lonely, or boring. I'm your host, Sarah Williamson, and I decided to have a year alcohol-free as a little life experiment and haven't looked back. I'm a best-selling author, expert speaker, corporate workshop facilitator, and life coach. I'm here to support you with your alcohol-free or drink less adventures. Follow me on Instagram at Drink Less, Live Better. Find resources on my website, drinklesslivebetter.com, and buy my book, Drink Less, Live Better. It's available in all the places you might buy a book. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Let's get straight to it. Better than expected. Sometimes life gets seriously lifey, and we are left sideswiped by the unexpected. One day, I will tell you the story of a week in August this year. I can't tell the story yet because I am still reeling from parts of it. I'm still processing it, but in good time, it will become a rear-view mirror story. My perspective will change, and I'll share the parts of it that feel comfortable to share as a learning experience for us all. In the opposite way, life gets lifey, and we get surprised by the good things too. Sometimes things we didn't even know we needed. And because I don't like the binary, the A or B, the black or white, things are awesome on one hand versus things are terrible on the other. Let's not forget there is everything on the life scale in between, including average, okay, and fine. A lot of us have a tendency to seek out information to support our existing beliefs. This is called confirmation bias. Oh, it's raining today and I've just had my hair done. Of course it is. I'm going on holiday and I've come down with a virus. Of course I have. That t-shirt I bought last week, full price, is now on sale at 75% off. Of course it is. Are we ever looking for the better than expected belief? Two things that spring to mind for me, one personal and one professional, I'd like to tell you about. In the middle of last year, I had been assessing an expedition and was standing in the middle of a field telling a fellow assessor how much I missed having my dog with me on expeditions. She had a beautiful 9-month-old black lab with her, and I was making a fuss of the dog and saying what a beauty she was. The assessor told me that her dog's sibling was about to need to be rehomed as his owner was moving to another country and couldn't take him. The next morning, I rang to find out about the dog, and a new owner had already been found for him. I was really disappointed. I asked her to keep me in mind in case the people coming to see him changed their mind. A couple of days later, the owner rang me back and said he had been collected and was off to his new home, but she wanted to let me know she had the mum of the 2 9-month-old dogs who she also needed to rehome because of the move. She asked if I would be interested in her. She was 4 years old. I hesitated because I thought a 9-month-old dog had been what I had been looking for my family. Out of the puppy stage, but all the fun teenage time to enjoy. And then I realised we had nothing to lose by going to see her. Martha. Martha. What can I tell you about Martha? She turned out better than I ever could have expected. She has brought us all so much joy, turned up in our lives beautifully trained, fun, full of energy and enthusiasm, and so much love to give. I had thought that I really wanted that 9-month-old dog, and it turned out it was Martha that we needed all along. She's been my expedition companion this year, my long-distance walking training companion, and lying by my side friend. I never could have expected to be this lucky. Or could I? She worked out better than expected. And a professional story. When I went back to work after maternity leave, I had the nicest line manager in the world. He was supportive, encouraging, and inspiring. I worked for him for over 10 years and was really upset when his role line management got moved away from me in a restructure of the business. I'd been horribly bullied in a job in my 20s and was apprehensive as to who I'd get next. As it turned out, my worries were unfounded. I got a just as nice new line manager, someone who I'd crossed paths with a few times, and someone who was equally supportive, encouraging, and inspiring. What a huge relief it was. It worked out better than I had expected. What might be next for you? Perhaps friendships that blossom in this new era. Friendships sometimes work out better than expected too. It's never too late for a friendship to surprise you. I was convinced I had enough friends and didn't need any more in my 40s. But then I stopped drinking and worried my social life was over. But as I started to engage in new activities and meet people who shared my values, something magical happened. I found myself surrounded by people who were more genuine, supportive, and fun than I ever thought possible. These weren't just drinking buddies. These were true friends who showed up for me, laughed with me, and hung on to me when things went to the wall. Better than expected. Next time you find yourself expecting the worst, remember there is also a better than expected story, or an "oh, that worked out well" tale to be told. Open your heart to the possibility that things might just be okay, or better than okay, even when life seems really lifey. Thank you for listening in today. Come back again next week. Please subscribe, rate and review the podcast if you love it, and maybe just turn it off if you don't love it. Check out the show notes for a link to a hidden podcast episode that will help you with your 5 p.m. cravings and details about my one-to-one life coaching and sober coaching programs. And P.S. I believe in you.